evils exist? Yes, something I can perceive to be evil exists, yes.
Okay, do you think proto-evils exist?
Okay, so I had to look into proto-evil, and all I saw was early signs of harmful or destruction behavior.
Something that's evil, all things considered.
Something that's evil, all things considered?
Yeah.
Then no. If all things are considered, then no.
Okay. So let's just take a classic case. A child gets essayed. What's the justification for the child being essayed?
If God said it to be essayed, it would be justified.
What?
Just like in Abraham.
Fucking retarded?
No, Chris. So if you ever read the book of Abraham, Abraham was told by God to unalive his child, and he was going to.
God didn't actually let him do it. Yeah, God wouldn't actually. Wait. No, but God's letting grown men pin down little girls and essay them. I want to know.
Leo, this guy can't track. He might be a dog, but he's not a hound, apparently.
No, Chris, I think you might be. You said the word retarded. I think that's you.
I would watch out. I swear to God, I will dog walk you. You can ask Leo. You will look even dumber than you do now.
And you'll sound even more like Jonah Hill than you do now.
Jonah Hill.
Well, this is the Jonah Hill guy. But yeah, so with that would be a justification. And if you could tell me why that's not true, Chris, go crazy. But like Ho said, in the Bible we see God did not allow Abraham to do said action, right? So it wouldn't be justified. And I'll tell you this, Leo, a lot of the sins or acts that you why does God justify every average Joe to do this? He doesn't. He would condemn them.
The question would be, does God hate child assault in such a way where if he saw it, he would interfere with somebody's free will to stop it?
Yeah, to my understanding, yeah, God, I don't know how God would interfere, right? How do I measure his interference?
What do you mean? Has he interfered before?
I would assume so, but how do we measure that?
Kai, I wrote you a song. Do you want to hear it?
You wrote it. You're excited. Play the song, man.
Stop trying to rape children, please. Thank you.
That's a crazy track.
That's a good song.
That's on Diddy's next album. Nice.
Why would Diddy say stop raping children? I think he likes that.
Well, he wants to get a lenient.
So I'm sorry, maybe I missed it. What was your justification for saying that rape is good?
Okay, guys.
I didn't say rape is good or rape is good. All I said was, if it was deemed, if that was God told you to.
Hold on. So hold on. You can stop there. So you're saying that rape is not good, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying that God is evil?
No, I'm saying God is on a different moral plane than we are.
Oh, okay. So you're one of those dumbasses who says we can't comprehend God or his morals. Is that correct?
I don't think that. Yeah, that's exactly. You wouldn't be able to comprehend God. So.
Okay. All right.
Kai.
So you're one of these fucking idiots.
Just so you know, coming from somebody who aligns with like the Christian-esque worldview, this is a very poor way of like presenting this. Just so you know.
Oh, I know. I'm just making sure that this dumbass and everybody in the audience knows how fucking stupid he is. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking, dog. I don't know what you're not getting.
You upset, Chris?
Are you deaf as well as dumb?
Damn.
Okay.
Deaf is deaf.
Now that we've got that under... dog, I said mute.
What's wrong with you, Chris?
You, hush, dog. Good dog, sit. Anyway, I said sit. What the fuck is going on here? Shut up, dog, sit. Good puppy.
Chill. Okay, you need a different mod host.
Don't tell the host what he does or does not need. I don't think he would take advice from someone with the intellectual capacity of a non-sentient rock.
Okay. Anyways. So,
why are you...
Wait, is the proposition basically that everything that is the case is justified because God allowed it? I don't know, this seems pretty unconvincing. I mean, you'd have to say that, like, Holocaust is justified.
You can't comprehend God, though, Leo. Remember that. You can't comprehend him.
Is justified. You'd have to say that abortion is justified.
You already granted... Leo, let's make this clear. You already granted God.
You can't make anything clear if you had to. You can barely put together a coherent sentence.
Chris, stop interrupting. Like, you're a
No,
woman.
you're the one who
I don't know
interrupted the host. Sit down, dog. Go ahead, Leo. Continue.
This is what happens when you.
Leo, can you please finish your statement for everyone?
Yeah, I was just asking, if it's the case that these things are justified, then you'd have to say that, like, the Holocaust was justified. You have to say that, like, child rape is justified just because God allowed it. This seems pretty unintuitive. I don't know.
That these things were allowed to occur.
Yeah.
Ethan, you spelled stupid
God allowed
wrong.
it. Wait, are you saying that it's justified because God allowed it? Or are you saying that it's unjustified and God allowed it?
Because God allowed it to occur, God created the perfect world, as this is an all-good world.
Yeah, okay. Wait. So a world without the Holocaust.
I can deem a school shooting a bad thing, bro. You shouldn't go into schools and blow them up, but that's based on my moral plane. God is on a transcendent moral plane.
Hold on. If this is the logically best possible world, then every single school shooting would be a necessary condition for the best possible world. So that means that what they were doing was actually just fulfilling the necessary condition for the logically best possible world, right?
I don't.
Because we have free will and you can't comprehend God, Leo. Did you not track, Leo?
No. Well, Chris, bro, I don't know who's letting women speak on this panel.
Damn. She's not gonna like
Oh,
that.
dog, don't even start with me, you fucking non-sentient rock.
Yo, Kyle, why do you think grape is wrong?
I think rape is wrong because you're taking control over a human being, and I think informed consent is the most optimistic way of doing things. So.
Yeah.
Optimistic.
And I think taking force of somebody is a bad thing.
No, you don't.
Wait,
when
why
it
is
comes
that,
to.
though?
You think interfering with somebody's free will to stop them from assaulting somebody is wrong?
Interfering with someone? No, I think that would be a great thing to do.
Yeah, so why isn't it great when God does it? Why doesn't God do it? Do you think that God hates assault in such a way where he'd interfere with somebody's free will to stop it?
Oh, he left.
Leo, it said disconnected by the live creator.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh,
No,
that's
I got
crazy.
kicked.
Oh,
Yeah, so Kai, what I was
Yeah.
saying is, since you agreed that interfering with somebody's free will is not a bad thing, does God hate assault in such a way that he would interfere with somebody's free will to stop it if he could and he saw it?
When you bring up free will, I don't think humans have free will. So
Okay, then do you think that, God hates assault in such a way that he would preordain for them not to do it?
no, I don't think so.
Okay, so let's just reductio this.
Because they
Just
occur,
real quick,
right?
just
So
real
how could
quick,
I think that?
real quick reductio. World A, infinite people exist where they just, can choose to kiss their kid on the cheek one time or 6 times. World B, infinite Holocaust for infinite time. You think that if you were LARPing as the god that you worship, you would see no morally relevant distinction between these two worlds?
If I'm God, I couldn't tell you what I was thinking. No.
Yeah, then I
cannot
guess,
comprehend what
okay,
God is
let's say,
thinking
okay, so
between the two worlds.
yeah, so you believe God exists. Why worship that God if he's so out of line with your moral intuitions?
It's not
Unless
out of line
unless
with
you're
my
saying,
moral
okay, so
intuitions.
infinite Holocaust for infinite time isn't out of line with your moral intuition?
When you say infinite time, I don't know what you're referring to. I don't think an actual
Okay, so
infinite
yeah, so
or-
a lot of Holocaust for a really, really, really long time. Let's say 1,000 million eons. That's not out of line with your moral compass.
What do you mean out of line with my moral compass? I already
You
told
think
you.
it's bad? That's obviously what I mean, right?
Obviously, it's a bad thing, bro.
Why is it
part of
obvious?
this are
Why is it
are
obvious if an all good God wouldn't be able to tell the difference?
What do you mean couldn't tell the difference?
Yeah, I asked you if you thought that a world with let's say 1 trillion eons of flourishing and no evil or no bad things happening, right? World A, and then world B, 1,000 eons of the Holocaust happening over and over and over again on repeat. You said when asked what God would think about that,
What, yeah. Why would
yeah,
I
you
know
have
what
you have
God-
no clue what an all-knowing,
Well, on
all-powerful,
what
all-good
basis are you
God
saying
would say
God is
about that.
good?
Yeah, you're saying God is all like alfalfa sprouts or something. You're not saying good.
You're saying an all good God could pick the world where it's just infinite suffering for eons and eons and eons.
Yeah, a million eons. He doesn't like infinites. He's a weird guy.
No, I meant infinite suffering.
Yeah, God can choose whatever he chooses.
And it would be
to do,
just
and
as
still
good
be
as
all
the cheek
good.
kiss world, right? Just as good as the cheek kissing world.
Then you're using good in a way that doesn't mean anything.
I'm using it in the most way. You use it in a way which it doesn't mean anything because I don't know where you derive right or wrong from.
Your face is
I
using
derive
it in a
right
way
or
that
wrong
doesn't
from
mean
God.
anything.
You derive right or wrong from what? Fiencer?
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 Why can't no one pronounce my name?
I don't know how to pronounce your name. Fiencer?
That's an L. Like
Oh,
you're taking-
No, that's
yeah.
that. He's talking about the take on how to pronounce his name. That's an L. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey,
I made
Kai.
the song better. Do you want to hear it?
Kai, tell me again how you have no idea which
I
world
asked you a
all.
question. Where do you derive right or wrong from? I told you where I do it. It's from God.
It's from God.
That's
It's
where.
I mean, it's from imaginary Sky Daddy that you have delusions about. Let's
It's
get
from-
that
Okay,
shit
now
straight.
Chris, where
It's
do
from
you
God.
derive your moral philosophy from?
Wait. When you see something good, in virtue of what do you know that it's good?
I'm asking you a question now. Okay.
Where do I derive my moral philosophy
Yes.
from? What I would or would not like done to me.
Probably her intuition.
I derive it from God.
Okay, great. If you derive it from God, you would agree with what I'm saying.
Hold on.
No.
No. You have a delusion of Sky Daddy. Okay? Like,
You
some
have-
people say
you
that God
have
talks
a
to.
lack of-
Don't tell me
you
what
have
I
a-
have, dog. Sit. We've already discussed this. You're going to learn some fucking manners when you speak to me.
Kai,
You already said you don't know who's allowing women to speak on the panel, so I'm going to teach you, bitch. Okay? How about that?
Kai,
Bob, Leo, come back so I can let Mob up, please.
Kai, do you really think that we can't secularly come to understand that, like, objective morality and, like, moral facts do exist just through our own intuition?
Yeah, you can. That's my whole point. Is you have to do that. And now, where do you derive
What's the
that from?
justification for that?
You can have a transcendental view on morality without.
Oh my God!
I'm
Thank you
not
for the
saying that.
galaxy. Holy.
And what are you saying?
Thank you, Zach.
If I was,
I'm just asking you your question.
Thank you so much, RH.
I have to block Zach if he keeps that shit up.
Where
No,
do you
it's-
derive your view on right or wrong from? You said
Don't
intuitively.
block a guy for giving gifts.
Yeah.
throw some galaxies my way.
Yeah,
Wait, why would you
intuitively.
block me? I don't get it.
Okay,
Unless you're
so
trolling.
If you're basing morality just on intuition, would somebody who does something wrong you intuitively view this as wrong, and somebody does something that action, but they intuitively think it's a good thing? Who's right?
Yeah, they're just confused.
Or you're confused, and that's the point. Is
No.
I
God,
can
that's
practice.
such a good
I can
point.
practice.
Can we
child
understand that
sacrifice.
2 + 2 equals
No,
4
no.
without God?
I could
Do you
practice
practice
child
child
sacrifice as it's intuitively good, and you
And
would
you're
say,
just
no,
you're
well,
just confused. It's the
my-
same as saying 2
my
+ 2 equals 5.
intuition
Kai,
leads me
Kai,
to say
Kai,
that's
Kai,
wrong.
Kai. Chris, can you
All
do
right,
the
hold
document?
on. If we're gonna have opposition up here, we need to make sure we speak to them one at a time and allow them space to talk as well. Even though Kai is a troglodyte ass nematode, probably also a single shit eating amoeba, a single cell shit eating amoeba, but that's
Nice
Is it
one,
amoeba?
Chris. Nice one.
Kai, just
are
by the way,
though. You have the intellectual capacity, as I've stated multiple times, of a non-sentient rock. You've asked why we're allowing women to speak on this panel and all other kinds of things. It just shows what a troglodyte ass piece of shit you are. I'm being generous and not kicking you because Leo finds some type of weird skewed utility in this conversation.
Yeah.
Kai, just to be clear, Kai, I'm also a Christian, specifically Catholic. I just don't think this type of moral argument you're making for God.
Who in the fuck is on Ahmed's fucking account?
I'm his twin.
Oh, god damn it. Are you serious? I know who this is. I'm not going to call you out, but this is weird.
Okay,
Yeah, that's fine. We wouldn't agree on it because you're Catholic and I'm not Catholic. So I wouldn't want to agree with a Catholic anyway. It's a
Well, the
blasphemy.
only difference
No, the
Catholicism and
problem
Protestantism is
that I
that
have
they believe
here
that
is
Jesus
that
wasn't just coming from the Father. What is the difference in these religions? Why do you feel such a need to pick apart, like to make barriers varies between the flavors of your own religion. You all more or less believe the exact same thing.
If he's a Protestant, we do not believe the exact same thing.
Yeah, they do not.
Yeah, it's like the opposite.
And no,
That's like the entire reason that Catholicism broke apart from Orthodoxy. I can't remember the exact
I'm Orthodox.
but it was
It's-
over
it's
one
No,
word.
it's
Wait.
not the filioque.
Yeah,
Is not.
if you Discord me what type of background you want, I'll make it for you really
The filioque has less to do with the content
Can we
of
stay
what
linear?
the filioque is, and
Can
it has
we-
more to do with the Pope's like supremacy
But can we
over what
stay
can
linear,
change
please?
topics.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the listen. The point that I'm making here, Kai, is similarly how we arrive to other facts that don't have to do with morality, such as the law of identity or the law of non-contradiction. We can do the same thing with moral facts. I don't think I think you can be an atheist and still be a moral realist. I don't see any.
I agree. And I never said you would have to derive that from God. I was just asking them, where do they derive that from?
Okay, well,
And
there's
they
just going to be
said
a
intuition.
principle. There's a principle of charity that we're going to be operating under, right? So if you agree that you don't need God for objective morality, for you to say, where do you get objective morality without God? That's just going to be. Wait, sorry, I wasn't done actually. That's just going to be you not, utilizing the principle of charity, right? So, I say again, listen, world A, a million eons of flourishing, right? World B, Holocaust on repeat for a million eons. You're saying, from what you understand of God, you have no idea what that all-powerful, all-good, all-knowing God, which one he would deem as a better world.
Me, personally, I would have no idea. No, why? How would I?
Maybe just the way that we're using the terms good and knowing and power and God.
And I told you, I'm on a separate moral plane than God.
Okay, then why
So,
worship that being?
as our creator?
Yeah.
Wait, are you just equivocating on good when you say God is good?
That's exactly, yeah. I'm on a different moral
Wait,
plane than God.
Hi, what do you even mean when you say good? Like, what does that even mean?
He means schmud.
Like, I genuinely think the concept is meaningless. Like, are you even able to give an example of something that's good?
When you say God is good, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
If it doesn't mean that,
Yeah, God
Like, he
God
wouldn't be
splits your mother in half
It
a
would
trillion
mean,
times.
Spencer, it would mean that he's the source of goodness, all good. He is the source of being good, and evil is without good.
yeah, but you're using good equivocally.
Yeah.
You're equivocating on good when you say God is the source of good.
For example, do you think that good means what ought occur? Or what you have most reasons to do?
That sounds like fine.
No.
No. No, Mom.
But you would mean that in the human case, right? When you say it's good to donate to charity, you mean
No,
like,
good is just approved. It's approved of.
oh, that
Yeah, but
sounds a
in
lot
virtue
like
of
a
what?
subjectivist. What you guys think subjectivism is.
Again, I would agree, sure, but ours isn't because it's approved by God. So that
Wait,
would be
God
all
is not
good.
a subject?
Yeah, of course God is a subject.
No, he is not a subject because you're.
By
Again,
subject here we
yes.
just mean an agent capable of making decisions.
Wait, maybe he doesn't think God is an agent. Like,
Well,
Justin doesn't
he's a-
think he's a moral
He's a
agent.
Christian. I mean, what would it mean for Jesus to not be an agent?
Yeah. Kai, you think Jesus is an agent, right?
I can say Jesus is. Now, when we talk about the
You think Jesus is
Father,
God, right? Because you're Orthodox.
Pardon?
You think
Wait,
Jesus is God, right? Because you're Orthodox.
I think Jesus is fully man and has the essence
And fully
of
God, right?
being fully God.
And fully
Having
Yeah.
the
So
essence
earlier
of
when I
God,
said the
being
principle of
fully
charity,
God.
and I accuse you of not adhering to it.
Yeah, him being fully man makes him an agent, sure.
Okay.
Him being fully God does
He's-
not make him an agent.
Oh, he's only an agent in virtue of his incarnation?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so stupid.
No, I'm serious. What are you guys talking
Did
about
he
here?
decide to be incarnated? Or was he forced to be incarnated?
Uh-oh.
Okay, when you use the word forced, what do you mean forced?
Kinda
Look,
like the father willed it against his will. Or did he will it? Does he have a will?
Okay, wait. Just ask this, Kai. How many people do you worship?
the logical problem of the Trinity?
No.
How many persons?
Yeah, how many persons do you worship?
As an Orthodox, I can worship my saints. So
Shut up.
It's not
Hey,
the same kind
hey,
of
you remember
worship.
when I
It isn't the
accused
same
you?
kind of
Hey, Kai,
worship, but
remember
I
when
can
I
worship
accused you
my
of not being
saints, I can
charitable?
worship-
The principle of charity. Remember that?
You pray to saints. What's the first commandment?
You don't worship
What's
saints
the second
like you do
commandment?
God. Do you worship Jesus any differently than you worship the Father?
Do I worship Jesus differently than I would? No, I worship God.
Is it a different kind of worship?
Yeah. So it's one.
Okay,
God.
let me ask this: how many people are worthy of worship intrinsically? There we go. It's better.
3. The answer's 3.
The answer's 1.
3 plus 1.
4. Say 4.
Okay, it matters what your requirements are of being worthy.
It's an internal
So,
critique, dumbass.
I'm asking you, what are your requirements of being
It's an
worthy?
internal
Your
critique, dumbass.
requirements.
It's interesting. I thought the Christian God was definitionally worthy of worship, but it's like Bill is very nature.
I'm asking you. You asked the question.
It's an internal critique.
Yeah, but
Do you know what that
How,
is?
how are you? What are the requirements of being worthy of worship?
It's
I'm
an
asking.
internal critique.
Kai divided by 0 3 minutes ago, and he's just.
Hold on, my dog. No, I'm asking you under your review.
Again,
I thought it would be really obvious, but apparently it's not. So that might not be a better question.
I mean, I just asked you a question. How do you determine what's worthy of worship?
It's an internal critique.
Okay, how many people are part of the Trinity? All right, let's try that.
Yeah, so we have 3 persons in the Trinity.
Cool.
There you go. Okay, now a person. What's a person? A person is an agent that can think, right?
Has wills.
Again, I have the saints, Mob. I brought you up. I have Virgin Mary. I have the saints. So when you say worthy of worship, I'm asking you.
You're equivocating on worship.
Now.
Kai, focus. We're past the worship part. Forget about that. Okay. I asked how many people are in the Trinity. You said 3. I said, what makes a person a person? Under your view.
Like in the Trinity, when we're talking metaphysically, why do we separate them?
Yeah.
It's
Why
based
do you
on
call
their
it a
nature.
fucking person?
It's based on their nature. So we
No, they have
separate.
the same nature.
No, they don't.
What makes someone a person?
Well, the same essence.
Same essence, yes.
I've never understood the distinction. But go ahead.
Yeah, so we have energy, essence,
I don't
distinction.
care. I'm saying, yeah, whatever.
He was so excited to get back on a script, though.
Yeah, so we have energy,
So,
essence.
wait, Kai, that wasn't an invitation.
What?
Answer the question Mob's asked you 6 times.
I'm answering the question. We distinguish the persons in the Trinity based off their nature and the energies we see perceived through each person. Okay, so that's why we divide
Each
Father
person?
from
What does person
Jesus.
mean there? What does person mean there, Kai?
Person.
A definition is what we're asking for at this
Person
point.
can't just mean has a nature.
Okay, again, when you ask these questions, I do have to do research because I'm not going to say anything that goes against my religion here. So I'm going to.
Yeah, so you're looking up what you believe. Got it. Yeah.
I'm going to have to look up the definition of person which we use so I don't misspeak. Yeah.
Okay. Does God have a mind?
Make sure you don't mix up social and Latin Trinitarianism. That'd be catastrophic. They do use different definitions for different things. And then make sure that cross-references with your theological beliefs as well. And then make sure in cross-reference that the theological beliefs are from whatever particular creed or council formed them.
Wait.
It's all really complicated.
Wait, Kayj, you didn't say particular like normal. Can you say it again?
I said particular.
Okay. Usually you say particularly.
Yeah, particularly. That's
Yeah.
the normal way to say it.
I know. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just. But this guy's a fan of using different definitions, so maybe all that stuff.
Well, I mean, the Latin Trinitarians have been doing that for millennia. That's fine.
Yeah, so persons, when we refer to the Trinity, is just a distinct mode of being. When it comes through the divine essence of God, each person, in which way, like I said, has a different nature, so a different mode of being, a distinct mode.
You know what
So
modalism is?
let's. Yes.
Modalism and distinct mode, that doesn't matter.
Well, I'm pretty sure the heresy defined as modalism, defined modalism heresy as saying each person has a distinct mode of being. Pretty sure that's like explicit.
But I'm not asking what separates the person. I'm asking what a person is. You can't just say it's a mode of being, because obviously there are non-persons with that are a mode of being.
Dog is a person.
Sorry,
A rock
Mom,
has a
I
nature.
got sidetracked. My bad.
No, you're good, Kayj. I'm talking to Kai. He seems to think I'm asking what distinguishes the persons.
Yeah, Mom, you're looking for like a definition or something, right?
Yeah,
Well, Kai's just gonna ask.
Wait, Leo, are you claiming that you think that person is like a semantic primitive?
I've yet to be given a definition of person, or like personal identity. Definitely primitive for me.
Person like some agent with some level of sentience that can like deliberate upon actions or something?
Okay, yeah, sorry, maybe I got a bit confused between person and personal identity. I can't define personal identity, but I can define person.
If you look up William Lane Craig and some of his Substack papers, or even like some of his papers that he's released on philpapers.org, he does define his terms at the beginning of the arguments. He's a Latin Trinitarian. That might help you. That sounded really facetious.
So instead, because I said the word mode, I said distinct mode. I'll say distinct center of consciousness or self-awareness within the divine essence would be a better definition. Just so you don't conflate.
Are those synonymous? Well, are those synonymous, mode and what you just said?
That it's relative when it's synonymous. If you want to say that this mode involves consciousness or self-awareness within the divine essence, and they distinct, that's the issue here is, I could use either or to articulate the same point, but one would go into the doctrine of three gods with modalism versus a trinity where we talk about the conscious. It's semantics. It's semantics.
Wait, is it one consciousness or three separate consciousnesses?
Yeah.
Right. It is semantics, and I asked that because if it is just semantics with the same referent, then it shares the same referent with modalism, which is substantively going to lead down the same road eventually, right? So I just wanted to avoid all that and save the time.
Yeah.
You got that, Kai?
So if mode is synonymous with what you just said and they have the same referent but different semantic value, it's just going to refer to the same things that I forgot who created modalism. I forgot their name. The patriarch that created that heresy. It's going to lead the same places.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, so the differences between why it's not synonymous is because in modalism suggests the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are simply different expressions or manifestations. But on the Trinitarian side, persons teaches the Father as co-equals. So that's the big difference. Are they distinct?
It's not mutually exclusive.
When I say distinct mode, like you said, you asked me for I could use that definition for the Trinity, right? But then you would align it with modalism. Okay, so I have to articulate myself in a different way because their idea of modalism comes from that. It's different modes, so they're all separate.
Well, no. That's the problem. The reason heresies exist is because it changes the nature of God or changes the being of God. One of the two. And modalism says that, no, it's not a Trinitarian God. It's one God expressed in three different fashions. If you're saying there are three gods expressed in three different fashions, that's just to reaffirm that there's three gods. So saying there are three different modes of being.
I would look at modalism as saying three gods. Yes.
Well, then you're incredibly confused on why it's a heretical view. The reason it's a heresy is because they're Unitarians, not because they're Trinitarians. That's the whole point.
I understand when it
Oh,
says the
Kayj.
Father is the Son is the Holy Spirit. They're the same. I understand that.
No. That's where we're confused. The Son is the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God, the Father is God, but the Son is not the Father. Modalists think the Son is the Father,
That's
and
what
the
I just
Father
said.
is
Yes,
the Holy
yes.
Spirit.
Yeah, that's
but
what I
there's
said.
three
Kayj.
different modes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want to say they're one God, three different modes, right? It's not what you want to say.
Yes, but we're defining persons. Okay.
Okay, so if you're defining person as just a type of or a mode of being, it's just as like ambiguous as what person means there. I'd ask for a more clear definition, maybe like even an ostensive one, if you can provide that for what a person is.
Yeah. So this is what I'm just finishing up with. If you don't like me using the word mode, that's fine. I can use center of consciousness within the divine essence. That's fine. It's just semantics at this point. I do not believe that the Son is the Father.
Then there might be some other issues because if they're different consciousnesses and assumingly have different minds, if that's what consciousness means, then they might have different mental properties as well. Like Jesus might have one desire with the divine essence, and then God might have another desire. And if they have conflicting desires, they're not numerically identical. And if two people that share the same essence, call them beings, but have completely different mental states, you typically cash them out as different people. That's where we get like multiple personality disorder from. Also, that's how you like distinguish between twins. A lot of the time is through their behaviors and their personalities. It just, I don't think that's going to be a substantive road to lead them down. You know what I mean?
Well, you brought up separate consciousnesses. I did not. I'm saying they're the center of the consciousness of God.
That's how you define person. And you said there's three different persons, which would make them three different consciousnesses. And everything I said before follows from there. That's why I said what I said. You see what I'm saying, Kai?
I understand they have individual awareness of their identity, but they're still one being in through the center of consciousness of God. That essence is the same.
Well, I get that, but you're not defining the essence. You're defining person. And the problem with defining person that way, it's why a lot of people don't define person that way in like a really, traditional way of how psychologists or anybody else would use it, is because it leads to the issues that I just said. And your opposition, mainly mob, can prove that empirically using psychology. It's trivially simple for them to say, okay, well, if they have different consciousnesses within the divine nature itself, then they're going to have different mental states and different non-cognitive and cognitive mental states, will, desire, emotions, etc. And they can prove, they have criteria for diagnosing personality disorders like that. You can call them mental state disorders, if you will. And then those would be applicable to this divine creature. And obviously, this divine creature is well above average psychological disorders, right? Like, I don't think that's something you'd want to say.
I understand you're saying because they're separate, it makes three gods.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about your definition of person so far, Carl. I've not said essence. I've not said nature. I've not said anything like that. I'm just talking about your definition for person. And you said there's three persons, and that's why I see a problem with it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but just because there are three persons have distinct consciousness, it doesn't apply that there's multiple gods, okay? Because they share all the same divine attributes. So
Nobody said that
if
either.
you want to take a psychological approach on determining if there's three or one, or do they come from one, etc., it's not relied basically just on having a distinct consciousness, right? Because we're not
right.
defining.
If you want to take that road with Mob, I was just trying to help you. Go ahead, Mob.
Wait, when you say something like God loves you, are you saying all three persons love you? Or does that
Yeah, that's God. That would be God. All three persons.
Wait, now that
God. Yeah.
Kayj, now he sounds like a partialist. When you say God, you're just referencing that, like, all three people do
All
something.
three people share the same essence, but it's God, right? It's not the fully human side of Jesus who was crucified on the cross, right?
Yeah. They all have distinct minds.
What?
Like, God is not a mind. Oh,
Did
sorry,
you just say Jesus? Did you just say the full human of Jesus Christ was not crucified on the cross?
No, I'm making the distinction between Jesus's fully human side versus his fully God side.
Okay, which side was crucified?
His fully human side.
Okay, just you might have
That's
misspoke, but what I heard was Jesus Christ did not. Jesus Christ, the human nature, did not crucify on the cross. That's what I thought I heard. My bad.
Does that mean God did not die on the cross?
That's exactly what that means.
Damn.
Boom.
That sounds very unchristian. Unchristian.
Yeah, no, Kai, you'd still want to say that God died on the cross because Jesus was fully human and fully God, so the divine nature was able to experience all of the human nature. He was experiencing it just as any other human would, but from a divine perspective on the human. It's almost like you watching your firstborn child get hurt, right? You're still feeling all of those emotions, if not at their level, maybe even deeper because you're maybe more emotionally mature. So to say God did not die on the cross, that you don't want to say that at all.
I'll say that. That's fine.
Okay, well, now you understand that Mob's only goal here is to, one, commit you to a contradiction, or two, commit you to heresy. And you saying God did not die on the cross is explicit heresy that would have got you, like, severe capital punishment back in the day.
No. Especially when I
actually,
articulate myself.
Hold on. Kai, sorry, 1 second. My goal originally was to get him to admit God as a subject, because that's what Flintser wanted, and then I tried to do it by getting him to define person and show how that a person is a subject, but we ended up getting on Trinity, and now we're, like, lost, and we can keep going in the Trinity.
But no, God, I would say God didn't die on the cross. I would say Jesus died on the cross.
Yeah, but Jesus is God. That's the problem.
Yes, but God did not die on the cross. Jesus died on the cross, who happened to be God.
Okay.
Look, it's the
just
same
so we're clear,
thing.
Hold on. Zach, just so we're clear, Jesus is God, the Son is God, the Son is God, Jesus, the Father is God, Yahweh, or whatever, and Yeshua, Yahweh, and then the Holy Spirit is God. You saying Jesus did not die on the cross, God died on the cross, is to contradict Jesus is God.
Yeah, but you mess up the wording there, but yeah, that's what he meant.
No, I think there's an innate contradiction with the hypostatic union. If you do say God died on the cross,
look.
Well, then now we're certainly in heresy, Kai. Like we're certainly into heretical territory.
Can I ask Kai? Are you saying that Jesus was kinda God and kinda man, or he was fully God and fully man?
Yeah, he was fully God and fully man.
Okay, so did the fully...
When he was crucified,
Kai,
did God fully die?
Kai,
yes or no?
Kai, that's not my question. Yeah, so did the fully God part get crucified as well as the fully man part?
Yeah.
Okay, so why are you making this weird distinction where...
Because did the fully man part die? Flesh and bone.
Yeah.
Great. The fully man part died on the cross. Did the fully God part also die on the cross?
I'm not sure, but it's an internal...
It was crucified.
Well, yes.
I'll agree with you.
No,
it was crucified.
Yes. The Father did die an emotional, spiritual death in the same way that Adam and Eve died when they were sent to Earth.
Say that. I'm so glad you said that.
That's the point, Kai. That's the whole point. When people sing our songs of God's Not Dead or To the Hill, right? These beautiful songs are talking about an emotional, painful death that God had to sit there
Great.
and watch.
I'll agree with you, KJ. I'll agree with you in that reference of the way you're referring to death. I agree. When
Thanks, Kage.
When you're in these debate topics, when you say death means cease to exist. Okay, and when you talk to people who don't believe in a soul, when you talk to people who don't believe in a soul,
no,
okay,
Kai, no,
when
listen.
you say God died,
death is when the soul separates from the body. Would you agree?
Okay, if that's our understanding, if you believe in a soul, I'm fine with saying that.
No, they're critiquing your view, Kai. They're critiquing the Christian view, which means they need to adopt your semantics and your conceptual analysis of what death is. right? If they were to say,
Wait,
"Oh yeah,
he
God died
accepts
on the
it, that's
cross,"
fine.
ha ha ha. Okay, well then that's fine, right? Now there's no
Because-
problem. Now we're not heretical.
Did God have a body when Jesus was on earth?
Yeah.
Okay,
God's
did
body
God
was Jesus.
separate from his body when he was crucified?
Yeah.
Then God died.
Yeah, that just straightforwardly follows.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Also, I thought of something really weird. You know, Christians say like hell is separation from God.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never thought of this before. Didn't Jesus go to hell for like two days or some shit?
Yeah, when?
So then how can God be separated from God?
I think I've heard that before.
He asked, yeah, when? Like, when did he go?
Oh, like when he died. He said he went to hell for 2 days.
Did
And then
Jesus' soul also separate from his body?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. End of that conversation. Let's
Wait.
not bring up like ridiculous things when you just agreed 3 seconds ago that it's separating from the body. So the fact that Jesus' soul separated from the body and was one with God means that he separated from God? No, they both separated from his Jesus' flesh and blood.
Hey Kai,
Wait,
I'd like
what
to
is he
I'd like to remind you again of the principle of charity. We just walked you through contradicting yourself into you agreeing that God died on the cross, and we didn't make fun of you about that at all, right?
I only agreed because we had to really define what dying was. And then what happened was Mob brings up this point, which is not even true.
You don't
Wait,
think? Wait,
what? Okay, what went to hell? Not the body. The body didn't go to hell. Jesus' soul went to hell, right?
Kai.
God went to hell, right, Kai?
I'm asking, I don't know. I'm not a biblical scholar. When did this occur?
Okay.
After the crucifixion.
Apparently, let's just assume it's true. The Bible says Jesus descended into hell after he died on the cross. Then it would follow that God went to hell, right?
Okay, so I'm looking into Jesus went to hell, and some Christian traditions would hold to that.
I know. Okay, so yes, it's literally it's in the Lord's Prayer. Isn't it in the Our Father? He descended to hell on the third day. He rose again. The right hand of their Father, or whatever.
That's not the Lord's Prayer, but it might be in some
Whatever
like
the fuck
popular
prayer
prayer.
that is.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so
Yeah, I have nothing in my religion saying Jesus went to hell.
Okay.
Wait, I'll have to ask Wood about that, but that's fine.
like all I'm saying is for the Christians that believe that, and they believe hell is separation from God, wouldn't it just be a straightforward issue that God went to hell? God is separated from God.
Maybe Unitarians are the ones that believe that, and then there wouldn't be an issue.
Me as a Serbian Eastern Orthodox, we do not hold to that notion whatsoever, and that's why I'm asking you. Where does it say that?
That's fine.
Deeply.
Yeah, Mob's just bringing up something that like is a theodicy.
I just smuggled an illegal knife into Canada by being so kind to this fucking teenage CDSA officer. Sorry, I thought, fuck. Sorry, my bad.
That's not against TikTok.
Probably shouldn't admit I just did it.
I'm calling border security.
Fucking don't, lad. Oh my god. It's not even dangerous. It's literally for my job, and it just is springy. But anyways,
It's springy
sorry,
like your hip these days after that act. I'm just kidding.
Okay, anyway, what were we talking about?
We ought ban Kayj from the United States. I muted you, Kayj, for your own safety.
Chris, don't you fucking snitch on me.
Well,
Don't you snitch
oh no, God turned off his microphone. Hello?
Divine interference.
on me.
Literally.
Yeah, so Kai, Mob's just saying that some people who believe in God hold that, on the crucifixion until the resurrection, Jesus was in a hiatus in hell. Like that.
Oh, I'm going through. I'm being.
Right?
Age is laggy.
Yeah, so we did not say Jesus went to hell. Maybe some people believe Jesus was a transgender. I don't hold to that, right? So
No Christian thinks that.
I could convince some LGBT communities to open that denomination.
Look.
So beliefs are not.
That's some
not my
Reddit
belief.
atheist argument. All right, that God didn't have a biological dad, therefore he had no Y chromosomes, therefore he was a XX karyotype, but identified as a man. That's some stupid thing to like make you look dumb, but not really have any, real substance. Just don't bring that stuff up.
That's fair, whatever. He doesn't have to believe. It's in the Apostles' Creed. I looked it up.
Yeah, the Apostles'
No, but we
Creed.
have it at Hades. We don't have it at hell. In the traditional
What
sense
is
of eternal
different
punishment.
than Hades and
wait,
hell?
yeah, Hades is hell. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Okay, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Okay,
Bro's looking up. Hey, Kai, do you understand that you've already said that do you think they're different? So you already have mental.
I know that there's a distinction. I need to speak properly because I'm not an atheist like you who believes in nothing. We have a fucking church who I have to go visit back in Serbia.
Look.
I go back
Wait,
in Serbia.
Kai. Look,
I'm not
this is
talking
not
about
about
my
religion.
ass.
This is not about religion. Do you agree when you make mouth sounds, you have some big brain mental content you're trying to communicate?
Kai's funny. I like him.
Yo, Kai, are you
Hades,
Orthodox?
Hades,
Kai,
when
are
we
you
refer to
Orthodox,
Hades,
Kai?
if you're
Kai, are
familiar
you
with...
Orthodox?
Huh?
Are you Orthodox?
If you're familiar with Sheol...
Hey, yo, W Orthodox.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Sheol, okay, it's a temporary realm of the dead, is what Hades is described as, and not hell. So we do say, yeah, Jesus went to Hades for a short time, but he did not go to hell, which is not the same thing.
Do people ever go to Hades?
And this is described as a victory over death and sin. Okay, so if you want to say Jesus was separated from God for the time he was in Hades when he made a victory over death and sin and liberated the righteous souls and did the gospel, cool.
Wait, that would be a contradiction. You don't want to say that. Right, Mob?
Where's the contradiction?
I don't know. They're gonna have some weird view out of it. Like, oh, actually.
Oh well, actually, if you
there's no
study that.
contradiction there.
Yeah, Kai. The contradiction would be God is separated from himself, and God is not separated from himself.
Yeah, that's what the contradiction would be. But Kai, do you believe hell is separation from God? Are you one of those people?
That's the ideology. Yeah, separation from God is our understanding of what hell would be. We don't say it's lakes of fire or anything yet.
Can God be separated from God?
Easy no.
Me personally, I wouldn't limit God in that way. No, but I already went through why logical contradictions. God transcends them like 10 minutes ago.
Wait, God can make a married bachelor?
Yeah, God, these logical contradictions. No. These logical contradictions you put onto a metaphysical being outside of our reality.
Wait, do you know what?
God transcends your logical contradictions.
Hold on, Kai.
I already brought this up with the big rock analogy. Okay, how God would.
Do you know what an analytic truth is?
No, RH. I said, right, 20 minutes ago, if God created a rock that he couldn't pick up, could he pick up the rock? Right? That would be a contradiction.
Yeah, you think he could?
He made a rock that he's incapable of picking up. Can he pick it up?
Answer that question.
The answer? The answer is a yes. And that conclusion would be... No. God's all powerful. The conclusion is yes. So these.
Wait, what do you mean by all powerful? Because apologists abandoned the notion of like maximum power like decades ago, right? Now that they hold to some version of all powerful where he can do things that are he can actualize any logically possible state of affairs, right? So if you're saying that he can create a rock so big he can't physically lift it, but he can like telepathically lift it, that's not going to be covered under what a contradiction is. And if you're saying something else, then you're just an idiot.
Why am I an idiot saying that God transcends your logical contradictions?
Kai, Kai, when you say... Wait, do you know what modality is, Kai?
Google it real quick.
Yeah, I'm familiar with modality.
Okay, so what modality are you using when you say that God can make an unmarried bachelor? Sorry, a married bachelor.
When I'm not a subject matter expert on modality. I don't even know all of them. So.
Well, typically, logical modality is like the encompassing modality that all the other modalities fall into. And that's just to say that, something is possible or something can occur. If it's the case, there's no contradiction in doubt. But your view affirms a contradiction. So when you say that God can't do it, like what's even meant by can there? Because all I really know by can is just logical possibility.
Yeah.
So what do you mean when you say can?
Napkin, they said I sound like you.
Yeah, he's without constraint, so he can.
So,
wait, what?
You think God can make a triangle have 3 sides with angles that equal 180 degrees, and at the same time, yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask one question? I'm really curious what he's going to say.
Go ahead.
The definition, in the dictionary, in the colloquial definition of irrational, is believing in something that is contradictory, right? Would you say that it is irrational to believe in God because he can do contradictory things?
I think that's a bad definition on irrational, but
what would you
if that's your
describe it
definition,
as? What would you
then
use?
yeah, you would have to conclude that would be an irrational thing. But that's only based off your definition, Mob. Let me define irrational. I don't know where you found that.
Wait, Kai, really quick. Can you define it the way that you use it in your brain?
Pardon?
Can you define irrational the way that you would want to use it in your brain?
The first definition I pulled up of irrational is not logical.
Yeah, or reasonable, right? So, is you focused on the logical part. Now let's focus on the reasonable part.
Okay.
If it's not logical or reasonable, then if something is not logical,
it can be reasonable.
It doesn't matter if it's reasonable.
Wait, what do you think reasons are?
Look, irrational is defined as something being either not logical or reasonable, right? So if it's not logical, then it's irrational. If it's a definition, it doesn't say not logical and not reasonable.
Oh, true. Checkmate. Checkmate.
It says or.
That's a checkmate.
Either
excuse
or.
me.
It doesn't say and. Exactly, Mob. It doesn't say and. It says or. So one can be reasonable or not logical.
That supports my point.
No, it doesn't.
Guy, wait. You sound like Jonah Hill. You should listen, okay? Mob.
Wait, sorry, what's that?
I said, Kai sounds like Jonah Hill. He should listen. Mob, say it again.
Yeah, that supports my point, because when you say or, when you say X or Y, you only need to satisfy one of those two, X or Y. If you find out X is true, then the statement X or Y is true. Okay? Unless it's like
it's like a logic gate.
Or it's the opposite.
Do you know what a logic gate is?
It's either X is true or Y is true. And if one of them is true, the other one is false.
Like an exclusive or.
Yeah, that's an exclusive or
you're
gate.
thinking of.
No, he's talking about the definition.
I'm talking about XOR. I'm talking about like just a regular disjunct.
Yeah, but so the definition of irrational is something that's not logical or not reasonable. So if it fills either one of those criteria, you can use it as the definition of irrational.
I thought we were
Have you heard? Wait. Okay, so when we go down this logical rationale to reason to believe in something that has contradictions, you guys heard of the liar's paradox when it comes to non-classical
Nobody cares
logic?
about that. Look,
Yes.
nobody. Yeah, we have.
Hey, shut the fuck! I care about it.
Wait,
Nobody cares about you.
Contradictions. This is interesting.
I don't think it motivates. So Kai, the problem with any alethetic paradox is not just the liars. There's also the curry, and then there's also the gremlin. But not the point. Classical logicians can, sort of wiggle their way around it by just taking a different view on predication, or predication or quantification. For example, they can take some sort of objectual quantifier view and make some first order proposition pertain to one object but not pertain to another. And in the case of linguistics, you could take some syntax that includes some semantic value and treat that as an object. And that's how they subvert the view. So the motivations isn't to do away with the law of law of bivalence completely. It's just might be just to motivate a lesser change for pertaining to a certain domain and so on and so forth. That's kind of the problem.
That's not the way that I think about the liar's paradox. I think for me, this statement is false. I'm not sure if that is a proposition. But the same thing.
That's so lazy, though.
Yeah, but the same thing. This statement is true. I'm not sure that's propositional either.
Well, it depends, because Kayj, some people think there has to be some content to refer to, and if it's self-referential, then there's no content there.
Right.
So it's not true that some people do think
Okay,
that.
but Mob, I just want you to understand here, in fields of philosophy, science, accepting contradictions are reasonable. Okay, so you saying it's irrational, you would be calling science irrational?
Yeah,
Just
I
off
would
that.
if science thinks that, but it doesn't.
Hey,
It
science
does.
isn't
They accept
bivalent.
contradictions, bro, and it's reasonable to do, though.
Science isn't true or false. Science is probabilistic. It's not this is true and this is false. It's this is the most probable, but there's this other, like, that's the many worlds interpretation, right? That's improbable, but still possible. The logicians think completely opposite to scientists. That's actually why they fight so often, is because logicians think this must be true and this must be false. Like, scientists use like a bunch of different probability methods to see which is most true and which is most false, if you want to look at it that way. Just a simple analogy is there are people that think there are only men and only women, right? There's one of the two. And then there's people that think, well, you can be like mostly a man but have some femininity and whatever and so on. Think of it like that. It's not the same.
We should all just use fuzzy logic.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Fuzzy logic W.
This is where it's reasonable to consider accepting contradiction in these fields. Okay? So, with that being said, I can also accept contradictions and be reasonable when it comes to metaphysics and religion. So it's not unreasonable or irrational to understand or accept contradictions within that field of metaphysics, because science does it as well.
Is
Philosophy
that
does
if
it
you
as well.
take, if you take
Wait, Kayj,
a
can I ask one
dialectic
second?
position-
Can I ask one question?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so, Kai, would you say that God exists and God does not exist in the same time?
Yeah,
would that be a contradiction?
Trivialism too.
Pardon?
God exists and God does not exist. Is that contradictory in your view?
Even when you say it, I understand what you're saying, because my viewpoint, like, if existence is based on objective reality,
Wait,
and
stop.
objective
I'm not
reality
asking any
is
of
time,
that. You're
space,
wrong.
and matter,
Wait, stop.
then God would exist outside of time and space. So
Stop.
he
I'm
wouldn't
not
exist
asking
within
any of
time and
that.
space.
I'm not asking any of that. Is God exists and God does not exist a contradiction in your view?
No, it wouldn't be.
Okay, so God could not exist.
Okay, perfect. What he's trying to get to, Kai, is this view that a lot of people that reject bivalence, to say that something is either true or false, not true and false, is that it leads into this view called trivialism. Now, take any proposition. Like, do you drink coffee in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. When you make your fresh pot of coffee, fucking scalding hot, right? You sound like a proper mate. You know what I mean? You're probably right 6:30 a.m., pot in hand. Would you say that if you were to take that actual world and make it theoretical and say, this coffee pot is hot, that's true because you just burned your fingers trying to grab the handle and you touched the fucking glass by accident. But would you also say at that exact same moment, this coffee pot is cold? And can both of those be true?
Yeah, I would say it's relative.
No. So I'm talking about. Oh, sorry, you're right. It is relative. My apologies. I'm talking about the same object in both instances where I say this coffee pot at T1 after you freshly brewed it, 6:30 in the morning, is hot, and at the exact same time, not a couple seconds after, exact same moment, if you were to be able to hypothesize this coffee pot is cold, would those be true, referring to the same thing at the same time and space?
Again, if it fits your requirements of being hot, I would say yes, they can both be true.
Okay. Then that's just a view called trivialism, and the problem is you kind of lose any ability to say that this is true and this is false. And from inferences where you say, if you were to say what God says is good, if you're a divine command theorist, or if you're like a objective moralist where you say what is good is what aligns with God's nature, well, then it's also what is evil is what aligns with God's nature.
Yeah.
And what is,
I was going to go
that's
there.
the problem. Right? Because then everything that's good is also bad, but everything that's bad is also good. Everything you should do, you shouldn't do. Everything you shouldn't do, you should do.
I only said that both of those could be true if it matters on your requirements of what you're basing hot and cold off of. right?
Sure.
But
We'll just run through this real quick because this is my opinion and I really value yours. Really do. Because if I think that goodness is an expression of God's nature and as such objective. It's independent of even God's mind. God's nature, it's God's nature, not his mind. Right? So when I think of goodness that way, if I think that proposition to be true, right, then I can make other inferences like it is good for you to be virtuous relative to that first proposition I take to be true. But if I take it to be false, then it wouldn't be good to be virtuous in virtue of that proposition because it's not true. It's false.
That went a little over my head there. So you're saying if being good is in his nature is true, then what?
Then I can make other inferences, like whatever is in alignment with his nature, like virtue, compassion, honesty, loyalty, bravery, courage, all of that. If I do any of those things, then it is good because of how I define goodness and how I objectified my moral propositions. But if that moral proposition isn't true, right, and I have some view where propositions can both be true and false at the same time, well, then it could be false on that account that I should do those things. And then what should I do? It's like taking a coin and flipping it a trillion times, or Schrodinger's cat, where every time you look at the box, it has a different value within it. And you get confused because how am I supposed to act if my fundamental moral beliefs aren't true, but they are true, but they're false, but they're not false? And how do I know which one it is at which time, or if they're both at the same time? And, you know, it's how am I supposed to live?
Yeah.
I guess, but again, when you said it's...
he just hand waves it away.
Well, when you say it's trivialism, when I said if the thing's hot or cold, I was saying it's relative on... I was saying it's relative because it is. And you agreed it's relative.
Yeah, but Kai,
so
the problem with that... The problem with that is the definition of contradiction rules out any... A different person touches it with a different hot or cold tolerance. A different time has passed to where the thermal energy has dissipated. It's a different, like it's a French press and not a coffee pot or a Keurig, so there's more heat. The definition of contradiction is same time, same place, same instant, same form, same. Yeah,
if everything's the same, then it could not be true. If I'm saying hot is 22 degrees Celsius and this cup is 22 degrees Celsius, then it's hot.
Yeah, but
if somebody...
wait, stop. That's important. This cup is 22 degrees Celsius. To you, it is hot. If the cup was 22 degrees Celsius, could it be cold to you?
If 22 degrees Celsius is hot, then it cannot be cold. But if somebody else...
I think, thank you. Wait,
cold,
Kayj, do you want to jump back in? Because I think that was an important distinction.
Right, I'm glad Zach could establish that. So if... We've now established that propositions can be true in some form or fashion that's incredibly relative, right? And sometimes propositions only have one value, true or false. Okay, great. So when Mob asked you earlier, could God exist and not exist? He's talking about in any form, in any fashion, is there a possible world if God is necessary, which we both believe he is, right? Which means true in all, or exists in all possible worlds, right? If I think God exists everywhere, no matter the world we're in, right?
Then yes, then he has to exist. He's a necessary, yes.
Okay, great. So now we think that propositions can be true or false. Okay, perfect. Now, because I was confused before, because I thought, and maybe the question was ambiguous or vague, when Maud asked, could God exist and not exist? He's talking about in any, like if God is a necessary being, is there a possible world where he doesn't exist? And that would be problematic. And that's the view. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead, my apologies.
And I said God does not exist based on semantics. Okay. God's a necessary. He ought to exist across any form of existence. There must be God. But when we were saying is God inside, like what is existence? Okay, it's our objective reality. It's inside of our universe. That incorporates time, matter, and space, which God is not a part of.
Question.
He transcends that.
Kai, you said if the mug is 22 degrees Celsius, it's hot. And if it's hot, aka 22 degrees Celsius, it can't be cold. The question now is, could God make it where the 22 degrees mug was hot and cold? If by hot we mean 22 degrees Celsius.
I would say yes, God could, but that's because I'm not putting constraints on God. So
okay, have you ever noticed? Have you ever listened to other people do like defend their faith and because you have a unique way.
I've watched some debate talks. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like a unique way of doing it? Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm definitely not formally. Wasn't in the debate team.
No. I'm not saying anything that. I'm not talking about your methods. I'm just saying like, well, maybe I am, but I'm not like. I think that like you being such a fringe view is either means you're onto something, or you're like straying from the path or something, right? And it just seems to me that like
I defined God in this conversation. I did not go into his characteristics. I did not go all loving, all knowing, all this. I said God is an uncaused cause that is conscious. That's what I define God as. You guys we can go into the attributes of God.
Usually with clarification, people's position gets like more understandable, right? And like it just seems that like the more we like delve into this, like if we're saying that like what are the essential properties of a triangle? 3 lines, 3 vertices. Angles equal 180 degrees. What are the essential properties of a circle? Infinite sides, 360 degrees total, right? You're saying that God can make a triangle and a circle, aka it only has 3 sides and it has infinite sides at the same time, and the angles add up to 180 degrees and they add up to 360 degrees at the same time in the same sense. Do you understand how that is like just wildly repulsive to any like listener?
Yeah, but what you have to understand is
Have you ever studied paraconsistent logic? Sorry for interrupting, but have you ever studied paraconsistent logic?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that would be non-classical. We were just brought that up.
Paraconsistent logic commits them, like they make other commitments, not just rejecting bivalence. That's not like the simple rejection of bivalence, which is represents either true or false, is not sufficient to call somebody a dialetheist or paraconsistent logician. But sorry, yeah.
Yes, but
I guess Kai, what I'm confused about, especially as a Christ follower myself, is under this account, God could say X is good, but X could be bad at the same time. How am I supposed to know what to do?
I'll tell you what to do. You follow God, as though, we brought up Abraham 10 minutes ago. What did Abraham do when he was told to do a bad act, right, to his son? Did he say no, God?
Bad. Was it a bad act?
I would say that.
I think that action was bad. I don't.
That's a bad action, bro.
Why?
I don't. Sorry.
We know unaliving people is a bad thing to do. So, and if you're told to unalive your son,
did God already know that Abraham would not sacrifice his son Isaac?
Wait,
that's my whole point.
He knew that he would. He was testing him.
Yes, we're Christians. That's my whole point.
Jesus reinforces that when he says, "Do not even put your father, your mother, your child, or anybody above God." That was the test of faith for Abraham because God promised Abraham Isaac, and God wanted to test to see if God put Isaac above God.
Can you hear me now?
I guess the problem I have is, I mean, aside from Abraham, I don't know if I should be doing and committing horrendous acts, because if I do that, I doubt God will treat me the same way he treats a prophet like Abraham, right? I don't think that's going to stop me with some divine interception, right? And then I end up actually doing a bad act in what I perceive to be good, but it's also bad at the same time. It's just, how do you make any action guiding principle from something that can be true and false at the same time? Just take, for example, thou shalt not unalive.
Yeah,
that's true and false. If that's true and false, then if it's false, I should unalive. If it's true, I shouldn't unalive. But it's both.
Yeah. So
hey, I think that people in the comments can't hear, and I think that the live might go away soon because of that. Because Leo's been gone for a while. I don't know if Leo you can do this, but anyway, keep going.
But I would base it off the hierarchy. I know that these acts are wrong. You know how to live intuitively, which the atheists confirm. They get their moral views based on their intuition, what they know is right and wrong.
I agree, but they don't take propositions to be true and false. They take them just to be one or the other.
But they have to do true and false because if it's based just off there's no true apt statement if you're basing everything off your intuition.
Well, my friend Zach here is a relaxed realist as an atheist, right? So, Zach, do you think some moral propositions can be true or false?
I love how it ended right as he was tossing me that. I think from what little I know about relaxed realism, I was going to say, yeah, they can be true or false, but not both.